Hello, this is William Bowman. I'm recording this video for Courtney over at Dog Boys. I spoke with Carol earlier on the phone and she told me that I would be permitted to record this video for you guys. So thank you so much, Carol. I want to explain exactly what I found on your guys' website and show you what you guys can change in order to get much better results of traffic. So in order to do that, I want to explain some things so that you have an understanding of how to implement the changes and be able to tell when the changes are actually working. Because, I mean, honestly, results is what we're after here, right? So I'm going to be covering the volume of clients looking for your services in your specific area, what your top online competitor is doing to win the volume currently, and things you can do this exact moment on your site to start winning those clients in the future. So I looked through your site. I do really like your site. I like the fact that you guys have multiple different pages. I like the design. The only thing that I would mention for your site is that it definitely needs some more content, especially on pages that you want to rank. And what I mean by that is you want 1,000 to 1,500 words of content on the front page, and then 300 to 500 words of content on any of the service pages that you want to go ahead and rank. And there's a specific reason for this, right? I'm not telling you to just go and write a bunch of content for no reason. You want to have this much wording because it allows you to slip in more keywords, and you can sprinkle and repeat these keywords 5 or 6 times throughout pages with that much content without it feeling like it's forced. But what are keywords, right? So keywords are simply just what somebody would throw into Google in order to find your product or service. So dog training Austin, if I throw that in, I'll show you the volume behind that, how many people search that on a monthly basis here in a second. But I want to show you what the search results come up with. So we throw in dog training Austin, and what we're going to find at first is ads. I'm super glad to see your company's not here because people will see ads and they'll just keep scrolling past. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I mean, that does happen quite a bit. There's not a very high click percentage rate on these ads, but it is a good way to ramp up your business. I don't recommend it long term, but if you're needing a lot more volume right now, it's not a bad option. It just can be kind of expensive. The next area is the Google Map Pack. So the Google Map Pack, this is a great place to be. If you are not here, please, 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 if you follow one thing out of this video, please go and get this set up. It's very important. It can bring you good amounts of volume. And even if you don't optimize it to be on the front page, depending on where you search, people will still, even if they know they want to use you, they'll still come here to try and check your Google reviews. So it is definitely, it's almost like a must-have nowadays. The link to your website also helps you rank. So it's good all around, and it helps people see, history of how good of a job you always do. So it's great to have. The next area is the organic search area. And this is where I want to spend my time because they get the lion's share of the volume and the clients that search for, items like this. You can't pay to be to the top of this. You have to basically rank your site up, by doing a number of different things that I'm about to speak about. So when we come over here, this is Sit Means Sit. It's the top actual company that's up here. And they're a national company. So, I don't expect to, beat them right off the bat. But, they put things like this. This can seem kind of intimidating. These are actually, once you understand how to get these, they're actually not that difficult to get. But I want to move away from just walking through their site. I just want to show that they do have quite a bit of content. They have videos, they have pictures, they have a lot of words. They definitely have at least 1,000 words on here. So that's really good content to have so that they can sprinkle in keywords. But let's look under the hood and see kind of what they're doing right. So when I pop over to the overview, we can see a bunch of these numbers here, right? So what I'd like to do is I'd like to explain all of these numbers to you so that they make a little bit more sense. You have the UR and DR. These two numbers are very important. They're basically a good measure for you to see kind of how you will rank based on Google's algorithm. And, they're pretty indicative of where you're going to place if you look at these numbers in comparison to different websites. Usually the higher the numbers, the higher your ranking is going to be. If you want to beat this website, you need to beat these numbers. But let's talk about what the numbers actually mean. So, of course, 0 to 100, the higher the number, the better. The URL rating, this is the UR. It's kind of like the trustworthiness of the specific URL. The DR is the domain rating. It's kind of like the reputation or the power of the entire site, so all of the pages on the site. So these two you definitely want to raise together. You don't want them to get too out of whack. It looks like the UR here is almost, less than half of the DR, so that's kind of weird. They need to bring this number up and raise them together is the best way to do that. There's a ratio that you need to maintain in order to raise them together. But, how do we raise them? So a really, really, really important strategy with raising these two numbers is utilizing backlinks. But what exactly is a backlink? So a backlink is if you, imagine I wrote a blog and I were to say, hey, Dog Boys, they are the best dog training facility in town. You guys definitely have to use them. And then I put a link to your site. If that blog appeared on a very, well-standing blog within the industry, and it had the link to your site, that would be a very high quality backlink. Another type of backlink would be like something from like a directory site. So like if you signed up for BBB and you put your website there, that is a backlink as well. But of course the guest post from the blog, that is a much higher quality backlink. So definitely if you're looking at backlinks, if you're looking at growing your backlink profile to increase these numbers, focus on quality over quantity. I've seen, 5 to 10 backlinks beat 100 or even 1,000 poorly made backlinks. Looks like they have a variation of good and bad since they, have decent rankings. For a city like Austin, I would expect these numbers to be so high up in the rankings, but they have quite a few backlinks. So I would have expected these numbers to be quite a bit higher. So they might have some poor quality ones in there as well. But let's go and look and see what they're actually ranking for. So when we pop over here, we're going to see volume, average number. The volume is the average number of searches every single month for this specific keyword. The position is where they're ranked, and the KD, the keyword difficulty, is how difficult it is to get into the top 10 for this keyword. So sit means sit, you probably don't want to try and compete with them for their own name, right? But dog training Austin, this is a buyer intent keyword, and it has a location like Austin. So if you were to rank number 1 for this, if somebody searched this, you can actually provide them a service. I wouldn't just try and rank for just dog training by itself, because then if somebody in Florida searches you and they find you, even if you're ranked number 1, you're probably not going to get any business out of that. So definitely buyer intent keywords is important. Look at this, 450 people, 250 people. We start seeing that these Austin buyer intent keywords, they might be 100, 150 here, 100 there, 450 there. They add up to quite a bit. So that can be a lot of potential clients looking for you. But let's go and see kind of how your site's ranking up. So if we look, you have a UR and DR that's, it's within range of each other. They're rising together, it seems. You have quite a bit of backlinks for these numbers. You have quite a bit of backlinks, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, especially if you keep growing them. Definitely don't drop on these because that can drop your numbers significantly. But the biggest problem that I'm seeing here is content. It doesn't matter how high these numbers are. It's almost like a waste of time to continue increasing these numbers if you're not actually going to rank ever for any search words. It's almost like, being the best like dog trainer in the entire world, but nobody ever comes to you to train dogs. So definitely that is a big recommendation that I have to you now that I see this. Go ahead and get that content in there. Sprinkle in those keywords. It will make a difference for the volume of people coming to your site. That is my first and foremost recommendation. Next, if you don't have your GMB, definitely get that set up. That can impact your volume and bring you more volume and can help you rank if you don't have it. And last but not least, continue on creating backlinks. Historically, it looks like you had 682. That's quite a bit. Continue focusing on good quality backlinks and growing this backlink profile organically and naturally. But I hope this information was useful. If you could please leave me some feedback on whether or not you're able to implement any of these things. But thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a great day.